Hi, Alan Schimmel, DevOps.com here at DevOps Enterprise Summit London 2016, and I'm with Phillipe Guenet of GFT. Phillipe, welcome.
Thank you.
Phillipe, you presented earlier this morning on your DevOps transformation story at GFT. Why don't you share with our audience a little bit about what you spoke about?
Absolutely. What we are exploring at the moment is how do we transform our organization model and delivery models to actually industrialize the adoption of change for DevOps, of change for Agile practices, and how do we improve delivery. What we see very often is people try and transform to adopt Agile and suddenly lose the focus from improving delivery itself. So our focus is very much on improving delivery, and which incidentally is the implementation of Agile. But that journey of transformation is a difficult one, and we see many obstacles in the way, and sometimes the Agile faith alone is not enough.
Yes.
So what we're seeing is adopting frameworks more around lean and measurement of waste, and how we apply that into IT to actually convince people on that journey to do the right things. And measuring waste allows you to pinpoint your priorities and understand the depth of the changes you need to make.
So that's a very interesting topic, Phillipe. And we have seen, sometimes, especially in IT, where we're such gadget, and metrics freaks, that we tend to do things just to do things, right? We do things for their sake alone, sometimes losing sight of the bigger reasons, the bigger picture of what change for change sake alone is not enough, and Agile for Agile sake alone is not enough. Another common thing that we hear from in talking to people is that sometimes with Agile, you get to a certain point in your Agile journey, in your Agile evolution, and you realize that you need more than just Agile. Scrum isn't enough. You need to bring in sort of some DevOps sort of patterns and principles. You need to bring in, as you said, lean type of thinking. And it sounds very much that that's kind of where GFT
yes, absolutely.
is at.
Absolutely. What we're trying to do is not necessarily bring coaches and so on to the party, is to embed that into the way of working, and to somehow control it with a common sort of measure that is measure of waste. So if you do things efficiently, well, you reduce the waste. If you're inefficient, you have more waste.
How are you measuring that?
Waste is, by lean terms, is anything that does not directly contribute to customer value.
Okay.
As simple as. So you can't eliminate all waste out of the delivery process. Ceremonies and so on are necessary, especially in a distributed environment. But what we're seeing is as soon as you start measuring that, then it's a big scary number sometimes. And how do you go about reducing it? And what matters is not what number is. The matter is how do you go into a process of reducing it. And I do very much draw the parallel to the automotive industry that has done that decades ago.
Right.
Decades ago. And you can see the journey of improvements they've been on, and that journey is very much done through continuous improvement. And how do we manage to embed that culture into IT is a difficult point. And I think as well, Agile so far has been very much something for technologists, and the biggest hurdle to Agile is actually the product owner.
Yeah.
And when you don't get that right, you have an element of waste that is considerable. And how do we go in that journey, therefore, where the business wants to buy into Agile, the business wants to have a state of agility and understand what it's about, and lean by saying, well, you have that amount of waste, how about we are 20% more efficient, which is 20% less cost for you. Suddenly the business has a number to tag on and basically gets involved more. So that's very much the journey we are trying to drive at the moment.
Understood. Phillipe, let me turn in a little bit about the DevOps Enterprise Summit. What compelled you to present here this year?
I'm very passionate about this because lean and DevOps is a large part of DevOps is the implementation of lean into the software development lifecycle, and especially the end-to-end software development lifecycle. And incidentally, I think Gene's book, The Phoenix Project, was for me very much of a defining moment.
Really?
Around lean. And as I was going through that journey, I picked up the book and it just confirmed everything I was trying to define and imagine and deploy as industrialization of lean in IT. And that book really hit the spot, let's say. So
Absolutely.
I always I'm a big fan of Gene as a
Good
result.
for you. Yeah.
And if he asks, if you can talk, I take that very much as an honor.
That's great. Let me ask you a question, as long as we're on the subject.
Mm-hmm.
For people in our audience who maybe are looking to find out more or learn more about Lean and how they can help implement Lean, of course, the Phoenix Project is a great book.
Absolutely.
But any other kind of sites or books that you would recommend for people?
Well, the Lean project itself recommends the theory of constraints and recommends the goal.
Yeah.
And that book is so simple, such an easy read as well, and it's a very great introduction, I think.
Actually, yeah, I read The Goal way before I knew Gene or the Phoenix Project or anything.
So I think the whole theory of constraints is very interesting in it. And then there's plenty of other books around lean software development. But I like as well to get inspiration from the automotive industry.
So you're talking about like Katsa and Denning, and have you done any of that kind of stuff?
Yes, and a lot of the Toyota production system, as well as looking at there's books around Beyond Lean, where they look at the organization of automotive organization to deliver success. And I'm very interested in looking at the clues we can take from those organizations, which are very much matrixed between specialties and between delivery of a car model or a car platform, let's say. And now those things totally relate into IT. Because we need specialisms as well in DevOps, in UX, in data, for instance. And we're delivering software that are like cars. And those software are built on big core platforms. And the cars nowadays are very much built on core platforms as well, because multiple models share components. So the same principles totally apply. The same principles as well, microservices are totally derivable to car components that are assembled for a car. So a lot of that is very, very similar, except one is very physical, the other one is very material.
Yes.
So it's a very interesting parallel, and I'm looking at working actually with car automotive specialists and consultants and automotive manufacturer and take their expertise and scale that into banks and IT. Yeah.
Excellent. One last question, Phillipe. We've heard some people say they really enjoy sort of giving back to the community here in way of their talks and their experience. But one of the nice things about the DevOps Enterprise Summit is also learning from your peers, learning from other people. Have you had that experience?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the whole journey is about learning.
Yes.
When you stop learning, you stale.
Right, so you either go forward or you're going backwards.
I love those conferences because you hear about stories. It comforts you into a direction, but it throws as well a few more things that you can apply and you can test. And I concluded my presentation really saying, I don't know much about what we're doing. I'm just trialing that. I would really welcome if you're doing the same. Please tell me.
Absolutely.
And I think it's all the principle of community that DevOps is really sort of
I think that's the magic sauce.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is the magic sauce. Well, Phillipe Guenet.
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely right.
Good. Thank you for sharing with our audience today. Thank you for appearing at the DevOps Enterprise Summit, and continued success at GFT.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is Alan Schimmel for DevOps.com.